This is a Kimberley. This is a Kimberley.
My name is Maria Morgan. I have worked in East Kimberley with key assets since 2014. I was born in Broome of Yaru, Bunaba and Gurri heritage and have lived in Wyndham for over 50 years. I am currently a board member of Galgunyam Group and Ngawa Awa Aboriginal Corporation. Viv and Shane Sears are the carers you will hear from in this video. The Sears have been carers since 2010, previously in the Pilbara and lately in East Kimberley.
Look at those two faces. We're both looking in the mirror, brushing our teeth, and she says, you know, we both got all this white froth coming out our mouths, and she looks over at me and she says, Mum, I'm looking like you, aren't I?
They have looked after 89 children in short-term care during that time. The Sears have been with Key Assets since 2016. The Sears live in Halls Creek, a small but busy town on the Great Northern Highway. It is located between the town of Fitzroy Crossing and the community of Warman and has a population of less than 2,000 people. Late in the 19th century, Europeans arrived searching for land for cattle and sheep, as well as minerals. On Christmas Day 1885, prospector Charlie Hall found a huge 870-gram gold nugget at a site that would eventually be named after him. News of the discovery drew more than 15,000 people. The gold rush lasted less than 3 months, and Halls Creek became a trading centre for cattle stations, Aboriginal communities and miners who stayed in the area. The land, now known as Halls Creek, has been occupied for thousands of years. The land is crossed by song lines and trading paths, stretching from the coast to the desert, some passing near the modern town. The Jaru, Gidja, Gugaja, Walmajari, Guniandi and other Indigenous people live in Halls Creek Shire.
Halls Creek would be one of the friendliest towns that you could ever live in. It's the people are friendly. I find the children in town to be very respectful, and it always goes back to treating them the way you expect to be treated, and it's no different in any other walk of life. The region to visit has so many places to visit, it's quite outstanding. It's one of the most beautiful places that you'll ever go to. We had a lot of experience working with Aboriginal communities when we lived in Newman. We were very heavily involved with the Mardoo in that area. We used to go out and do a bit of work with them. Because one of my roles there was managing the local newspaper, we would go out and work with the Aboriginal communities, go out country, go out hunting with them and that sort of thing. So that was probably the introduction to working with Aboriginal communities in remote areas. And then through the foster care that we've been doing over the last decade, we got to meet a lot of families and work with parents of children because of the need to try and get the children reunified directly into the family at some stage. So we've had over 110 placements now, and they can be anything from a weekend or 2 days up to 3 years almost with one of the children we had. But yeah, all bar 2 of them have been Aboriginal. and we work with the families as much as we can because it's important. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about reunification of the child and preparing them to go back home. So we spend a lot of time where we can, working with families.
So as far as being, like a white person and caring for Aboriginal children, some people think that we might get a bit of flack about that, but we've actually not come across that. Even sometimes when the department will, they'll give you the information about a new child and it'll be, like be very careful if you come across, family members in town, etc., etc. So you straight away you think, I better watch out for this. But we've never had any incident of a negative.
What the? We get one eye?
We might just be like walking from, say, the car into the supermarket, and so hubby will be like carrying and I have a picture of this in my mind, and he's got one like a 1-year-old in that arm and a 3-year-old in that arm, and then there's a couple of like older gentlemen, Aboriginal gentlemen that walk past, and they just go like this. They just tap their heart, like what a good man, like looking after these kids, and we get that quite often.
Well, the reaction from the community is absolutely outstanding. The support and the recognition from them and the respect from them, knowing that we're only trying to nurture these children and show them some compassion, and whatever they learn during that period they're with us has to be beneficial to them in their future life. So the community's great. They're really good.
Yeah, we never have any problems interacting with family. Like it might be that these children are not allowed to have any unsupervised visits with the parents, etc. And, the department can't arrange a meeting. Like we live in a small town. We are going to walk down the street and we are going to see family members. So we are not going to go, we're not allowed to have a meeting with you guys. So we let the kids interact. We don't ever be negative about their communication with their family or their parents. Doesn't matter what's happened in these kids' lives, their parents are up on a pedestal. It's just, that is their mum, that is their dad. And we respect that.
Go, go, go. Can't touch this down. Can't touch this down.
The biggest learning would be dealing with the processes that you have to go through to be a foster carer. I think that the system is good. They do a lot of checks and balances, and I learnt more about that. I always questioned how people got into caring because you used to hear so many issues of things that occurred, and I think that it's such a positive thing, but it's learning off the kids what they feel, and I think that you tend to always take a little bit with you off each child, because every child that comes into your care has a different need.
Keeping kids connected to culture while they're in our care, well, we always attend whatever activity might be on in town, be it NAIDOC or visiting something, or I have lots of Indigenous reading books at home, so they're always about cultural stories, so we quite often read books. We might watch things on TV, the NITV channel. The kids really enjoy doing that. The local football, just last weekend, we went down to the footy match and the kids were saying, like, how many relatives there's uncle, he's from Turkey Creek, and so they just meet their family like that. So, and we're always respectful to their family, and I always put my hand out to shake and meet their family. And even one of the kids that we cared for one time, I didn't realise how important that was until we actually seen this little note that she'd written, and she said, thank you, white mum, for meeting my black mum, and shook in her hand. And you just think that's such a simple little gesture, but it just really amazed me that how that child had actually really had focused on that. So this is her writing to me. You are the best in the world, and thank you for meeting my mum, and thank you for shooking my mum's hand. You are a very nice mum, and my mum is a very nice mum too.
Beautiful.
Biggest
then,
challenge
so this
is
one, so this
once
is
you've
to
had a
her
child
mum.
for a
So
period of
she's
time,
saying,
6 months,
so
12
this
months,
is-
3 years, is saying goodbye to them. And that is quite difficult. Some of the occasions we've had, it's been done at extremely short notice. That hurts, and it does, you do question yourself whether you want to go through the process again of that. But at the end of the day, you do get absolute satisfaction out of seeing a child change while you have them.
We have a little saying that we say to ourselves now, that we are what that child needs in their life today and when they wake up again in the morning. And we just keep saying that every day because we don't know what the next day and the next day holds. We don't know if at the end of the week the department's going to say, do you know what, can you have this child for another 2 months? Or we don't know if it's going to be Christmas Eve and the department's going to say you've had this child for 2 years. Oh, they're going to go back tomorrow. So we just say we've got a whole new way of looking at it now, and it's just whatever amount of time that we have that child for, we just put something good in their life.
But people say they find it very difficult that if they had a child, it would be so hard to give them up. If you know what you're dealing with and you understand it, basically what you're doing as a carer, if you take up that role, is you're caring for that child's needs today. So whatever that child needs in its life at 6 months old, 12 months old or 5 years old, whatever the case is, and you have them for 6 months, then you give them the love and compassion for that period of time, and then they will move on to the next phase of their life and hopefully go forward and become a very good, stable child.
So I think I would say to other carers, don't worry about that. Just think about what you can put into one child's life for whatever amount of time. Contributing to a child's positive identity is, it's so rewarding. You know, they just want someone to listen to them, someone to love them. People say to me, yeah, but do you love these kids? And damn right we love these kids. And you know what? Like, what kid does not want to hear that they're loved?
So he had a pair of socks on that went to his knees. But
And if all that child remembers is that every night someone said that they loved them, I don't care what face they remember or who it was, but somebody said that they loved that child. And I think every child needs to hear that they're loved. So yes, I do say I love the kids. I think the kids have taught us that, you know, that it doesn't matter how long they're in our lives, that they'll accept the love that we want to give them. I think that's a huge learning.